Welcome to the Pixelberry Choices podcast, and today we're going to be talking about chapter 3 to 5 of Crimes of Passion 2. Yeah, it's me, I'm back finally, and I'm starting to feel like this is the book that I've been waiting for. Crimes of Passion. Truth to be told, the first two chapters are okayish, and then I got in some exams and other duties, but then chapter 3 I started, it was like, yeah, the pace is okay. Then chapter 4, then chapter 5, and by the end of chapter 5 I'm so much hooked into this that I just can't wait. I have two more chapters to catch up with the daily release, and then I'll be coming out with weekly videos like I promised, and this time I'll keep it. Alright, so let's get started. Tristan got summoned to Dracovia. She didn't go, so she got literally dragged away. And Lydia, one of Tristan's sibling, she came. She's also the officer in charge, commander of the forces there. So she came to take Tristan away, and we tried to resist it. We tried to protect Tristan, but we failed. And then in chapter 3 we see that we're going there with Margaret and Luke and our dog Olivia, and also I think Ruby. So we all have with them, but Mafalda, our boss, we left her because she has other duties that she needs to take care of. But then you also see that Ruby and Luke, they're getting a little handsy. So definitely, if you helped to, you know, in their romance, if you helped them to sort of get closer in the last book, I think it will pay off. Let me know if you didn't help Luke and Ruby, how their relationship turns out, because throughout this book too, you'll get scenes where you can see that Luke and Ruby, they're dating and they're like being a very cute couple. So Margaret says that, and also one of my choice, I couldn't save Margaret's finger, so she would be drumming her fingers, and it will say the prosthetic sound giving voice to our anxiety. So that is something. She lost her finger. We didn't make the nice choice back then, the clever choices. I didn't make. So let me know how your scenes are. Like, do they differ? Like, what roles they have? Stuff like that. Then what happens? We go to Dracovia, we go to their childhood palace, and oh my god, I literally said that this is a haunted house because that literally looked like a book, like that kind of a castle, that kind of a view I would see in either, I don't know, Braidwood Manor, Haunting of Braidwood Manor, or I don't know, maybe something like It Lives, but that was really haunting. And then we meet the first brother, Sebastian, and oh my god, he is a total douchebag. Like, we extend our hand for a handshake, he doesn't take it, he keeps on insulting us. So we learned that this king has a mistress, and king's wife, who is actually the queen, is Tristan's mother. So Tristan is first in line for the throne, and that's what probably got her into trouble. And Sebastian and Margaret, they share the same mother. Margaret always loves Tristan. She has her fashion line. Nobody really cares about Margaret. She's the nicest sibling of Tristan, but Sebastian always holds it. So they're like the bastard child. So I don't know. Like, I was having this conversation that maybe, and I have always believed that Marguerite seems too nice. She is the cousin, sibling of Tristan we have always known. But when I got to know, like, she is the bastard child, and Sebastian always knew it and held a grudge against Tristan, and he showed his inconvenience. He showed his emotions clear and square. Like, he hates Tristan. He shows it. But Margaret, she has taken the high ground. I'm just saying, remember Duffy? Remember Rebecca from The Unexpected Heiress? Remember some traders from the It Lives in the Woods and It Lives Beneath? Let that sink in. But anyway, then we go inside and we see some other siblings. So in total, there are 10 siblings one of them could be the killer. So we see Lydia, definitely the commander-in-chief, the one who really is the fighter, and then Vasily, who also seems a reasonable person, and you will get to know as you play that Vasily is actually second in line. So if Tristan is sort of banished or put in prison, then that would benefit Vasily the most. And you will see that Bass or Sebastian, she holds a big grudge against Tristan because Sebastian was really close to Juliana, Tristan's fiance, who got murdered, and they shared the same passion for political causes. They wanted to pass a bill that would literally put an end to the monarchy and its rule. So that gives a motive, right? That probably Juliana had to die because of this activism. Reminds me of our sister Amelia from The Unexpected Heiress. She had to die because she was doing all this protesting and stuff. But we thought it was about that, but it wasn't about that. Now was it? It was completely something else. So yeah, I mean, you never know. Like at first, it might seem like these are the reasons that got Juliana killed, but at the end, we might see that there's a completely different reason. So then comes that we go inside Tristan's room. They don't stop us, and we see Tristan, and we get to sneak in the palace in different places. Tristan will give us a guide, a little bit of Dracovian history lesson, and through this Dracovian history lesson, we will know that how merciless Dracovians could be, how merciless Dracovia's history is. And then the next day, we go for the trial. We see Tristan's siblings, and the lawyer who was appointed for Tristan. He was, his face is really well known in Choice's universe. He's like the douchebag guy. He always is the villain in one way or the other. So he was probably bribed by one of Tristan's siblings or someone who wanted Tristan to lose. So this opposition lawyer, Nordja, I think her name is, she presents some alibis, she presents some witnesses and some proofs that was really damning. One of the cliffs where Tristan really accepted that she was the reason for the death of Juliana, and some really bad character witnesses. And the lawyer, Tristan's lawyer, wasn't defending Tristan. Then in the recess, Luke, Ruby, and our main character with Margaret, we gather together. Luke does some hacking and finds that the audio recording was clipped, and a letter was also presented where Juliana wrote that Juliana wasn't really happy with the courtship and controlling all these weird behaviors about Tristan. It wasn't actually addressed to Tristan, so we found another letter written by Juliana to Sebastian 3 months after the letter was written to, we don't know who, but it was presented as a letter to Tristan. So, but in this letter, which was written way later, Juliana says that Tristan is a really loving character. So we can literally present these, and we will get to fire the lawyer, and then that would be a really fun scene. And then that would be enough of evidence, and so we win the case, and Tristan is finally free. We spend some nice time together, and then we get back to the palace and we talk with Tristan's siblings. We meet Astrid, we meet the twins, and we see how vile they are. Like, I know probably they don't share the same mother, and there's also a bad blood and the Dracovian culture where they can be cold-blooded killers. But the way they acted, like so violent, it's just, dare I say, it's the perfect murder mystery plot, like a whodunit. Like, we know, like, it's like, look, Choices knew what they were doing, right? They said it in before the book came out, like one of the siblings is the killer, so they know what they're doing because they want us to guess which sibling is it. This is the game. We know, we know it's one of the siblings. We know that it has to be one of them. But the game is this simple. Like, we have to guess them. So at this point, we go through the book, and it might seem like Lydia could be the one who could frame Tristan, Sebastian, who has a big grudge on Tristan, but you never know. Vasily seems the reasonable voice, but he also is second in line. And then Margaret, she shows that she has no intentions for the throne. She has nothing to do with it. But again, we don't know. Anything could be hiding behind those facets. Anything, they could be wearing a lot of masks. But anyway, then we see that we are back at the palace, and we just enjoy Tristan's freedom. But also, Tristan had to take more responsibilities. So we see like a crack. We were thinking that Tristan's family doesn't care for Tristan. Neither does Tristan's mom or nor Tristan's dad. And I'm not even going to talk about Tristan's siblings. Let's not talk about them. But save for Margaret, or as it seems. But then Tristan comes back after a long conversation and a long day, and we ask Tristan whether she wants to go with us back to New York. Tristan says she can't abandon her family. And then a little fight breaks out. We have a little argument. And then Tristan is going to her room, and suddenly, there we go. Boom! A dead body. Narja, the lawyer. So after the case, the opponent lawyer, she really didn't know that the evidences were fake, the alibis were made up, the officer was paid to do this, to clip the record. So she actually really cared about Juliana, and then at the end she agreed to work with Tristan to bring some changes that Juliana always dreamt of. But then there she was lying dead. Her neck was cut open. There were stab wounds on her stomach. So this was a dire situation, and clearly someone was out for blood, out for Tristan, and they wanted to frame Tristan so bad. So there you go, active crime scene. We start investigating, and Lydia and others were clearly against a New Yorker investigating a crime scene inside the palace. But the queen actually gives us the right to investigate. So we get them all in a room, and in the throne room, and we will be asking like where they were, their alibis. The Lydia will say some suspicious things, that she was having dinner with someone and she came back, but really it would seem like she was lying. And then Astrid, Vasily, all of them will have their alibis. And we'll also see they're also fighting among themselves. Like, for instance, Astrid saying, oh, Sebastian could be the one, Sebastian will gain the most for it. Sebastian will say, Vasily is second in line. He should have gotten to be the next heir, not Tristan. A lot of bickering, a lot of backstabbing from this family. So you never know what is going to be the result of this whole investigation. Who we're going to find as the villain. Like, I have read Choices for a while now, and one thing I have clearly noticed is, even though on the surface it might seem like that someone is really bad, yeah, they might be like really, really super bad, like Mr. I forgot, Sterlington or someone but they might not be the killer. They might commit other crimes, but they might not have committed the main crime that we're investigating for. So that is something interesting. Casper, also, like, Casper looks like he's a villain. I mean, I don't know, really, who looks like that? He looks like a cold-blooded murderer. I mean, he hasn't been that much of a, under the spotlight person so far in this book. But it's just how he's designed. It's like you take Vince, you take all the antagonists from Choices. Like Choices artists just sat in a room and designed Casper character just to make him a villain. But you never know. You never know. So there we go. And then we investigate the body. So a little forensic room, lab was made near the body, the crime scene. And Ruby concludes that the murder happened at 7:30 p.m. So that was not 7 p.m. And that was the exact time when Tristan, our main character, we were coming back to Tristan's suite, Tristan's room. So Tristan says that it's impossible that someone killed Narja and then got out of the room. So it had to be some secret passage. And then we got to know that they have a secret passage that connects to all the royal siblings' room and even the throne room. So we go there, we follow a trail of blood with our dog Livia, and then we go and we check all the doors and the room where it opens, like a corridor, something like that. I forgot what it was, but we found the murder weapon, which was also a royal sword. And Tristan's sword, because she is next in line, is different. But all the other siblings, they have the same sword. And I think Astrid's sword was stolen, as Tristan says, a long time ago. So we do have the sword, but it was really washed well. So no fingerprints probably would be on that. And it would be really hard to say which sibling it belongs to. But then we go to Lydia's room and we find some evidence that Lydia was lying. Actually, she paid the bill at 6:30, so we think that it could be Lydia, because Lydia is the one who is really a cold-blooded killer. We can also collect another dossier from Luke, and that will say Lydia can kill even with an A4 size paper. I don't know. And she's a sadistic woman who likes to torture people. So, and she is the commander. She is the one who literally obeys Queen's wishes and who craves power, likes power. But then we go to the throne room, we charge Lydia, but then you find out, yeah, Lydia was lying about her alibi, but she was sent by the queen to get rid of Astrid's boyfriend, so that Astrid's boyfriend dumps her, because according to the father or the king, the boyfriend wasn't really up to the best political interest of the family. Just when I thought this couldn't get any more worse, any more political, any worse. Like they all they care about is politics, and they could have got rid of that character, as Astrid's boyfriend. If Astrid's boyfriend hadn't dumped her, the second option would have been to assassinate him. Really cold-blooded thing. I mean, I have seen the Sterling family. Yeah, they were not that open killer type, but this one is like over the top. Like they're a little too dangerous. And then, yeah, like in Unexpected Areas and A Veil of Secrets, the threats were lurking around the corner in the shadows. But here the threat is open. Like anybody can kill anybody. And they'll be like, yeah, I killed, so what? We're all family. Then, there we go. So not just killed, and we don't have much evidence. We thought Lydia would be the killer. Now that would probably rule out Lydia and Astrid. But then there are other siblings, and again, every time they're gathered together, they just break out in fight. They basically accuse Tristan. They accuse themselves. They have no companionship whatsoever. They have no brotherhood, sisterhood among themselves. But then we see like this is so messed up. And finally we got invited by the queen for a grand dinner, and we might be sitting beside the killer, and we'll have to investigate, and we'll have to let the queen know. So there we go. There was a little fight between Tristan, our main character, about whether Tristan wants to go with us. But Tristan clearly denied, and we say that, why do you care? Your family doesn't like you. And Tristan got sort of triggered, and we broke out in, we sort of started arguing, and the fight broke out. And then we found the body, and that changed things. But once this case is closed, once we find the murderer, what would happen? Our main character would have to return to New York. Will Tristan return to New York, or will she stay here and take her royal duties? Then how will this thing work out? This relationship work out? There's a lot of things, even if the case is solved, I don't know how these things are going to work out. So this is going to be a really good book. Tighten your seatbelts. And also, there was a tiny little mention of our main character's dad. So there's also this big mystery that our main character's dad's death. We still don't know how that happened, and in book one we didn't get much information about that. Not much light was shit on that. So probably this could mean that there could be another book 3, just in a speculation, unless they do something like Murder at Homecoming, where the main character had to live with the grief of their sister's death. So that is pretty much it. In the next chapter, 2 chapters, we'll go to the dinner. We could rub shoulders with the killer. We will definitely be rubbing shoulders with some angry and really, really vile and narcissistic Thorns, but one of them is very nice, Margaret. Facility seems really level-headed too. But yeah, we'll see about what happens next. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And I tried to summarize 3 chapters the best way possible. 2 chapters I'm going to summarize next, and then weekly reviews will come. I promise that. Do not worry, my guys. Alright, let me know in the comments your thoughts, opinions, and theories about Crimes of Passion Book 2. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, peace out.